All right, welcome back to Season 6 of our show, and today it's turkey wings, and we're showing you one of my favorite ways how to cook them up. Along with that, we're showing you two gorgeous sides. Let's show you how to get all of it done. So it's turkey wings, and we're going to cook these up today my way. We got a couple of different sides going on with them. We got a wild rice with mushrooms. We also got some Brussels sprouts that we're going to cook up today too. So the first thing you want to do is get these seasoned. So a lot of people dry out turkey wings. Now this is a rub that we made up: garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, allspice. That's right, little allspice in there. Pepper, black pepper. And make the seasonings yours. So make up the amounts that you want. So we're just going to start off with a little bit of that. We're going to season both sides. Now as I touch the turkey, I switch hands with the seasoning because I don't want to put my hands back into the seasonings anymore, and I'm just going to dirty up one hand. So always make sure you do that, especially when you're working with poultry, because poultry is a very bad thing if you touch things, because you don't want salmonella poisoning. It's not a very pleasant thing to get. All right, so we'll just get that seasoned in between, and use a lot of this. And we're going into a pressure cooker today with this because we want to get these tender. A lot of people try to cook these and they don't really know what to do. They'll put them out on the grill and they'll dry them out. For those of you guys that have cooked these, you know exactly what I mean. They'll get hard and you'll sometimes dry them out before you can make them tender. So we're going to show you how to not do that today. And a pressure cooker is key. All right, so we're going to just get this into the pressure cooker. I'm using very minimum water. And you basically want to steam these off almost. Like you're going to basically braise them. You're not going to boil them. This is where we're using the pressure cooker. And you want all that flavor to stay in there. So just get them all in there like that. And you want very shallow amount of water in there. And you'll keep all your seasonings on there as well too, when you have just that little bit of water on there. All right, so just like that, and you should be able to see the water level right here, and it makes a gorgeous stock as well. So we'll put that in there like that. We'll lock this lid on, and we're only gonna go for about 45 minutes with these. That's it. We're gonna get cleaned up and meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, that turkey's in the pressure cooker and it's cooking away. And while that's doing that, we're gonna show you how to make a beautiful wild rice. So right here we have a mix of wild rice. You can see black, red, and there's brown. This is what makes a gourmet rice. And when you buy a wild rice, a real wild rice is just the black that's in there. So you would find that in there. But this is a mix of rices. And the stuff that you find in things like Uncle Ben's wild rice, it's not a true wild rice. It's a parboiled, means that they kind of pre-cooked it for you. But nothing is as healthy as this mixture you have right here, and it takes a long time to cook. So we're talking about an hour to cook this, opposed to an Uncle Ben's 20 minutes on the stove and you're done. So that should tell you something right there. All right, so we're gonna get this in a pot. We need some flavor, so we're going in with 3 gorgeous bay leaves. We're gonna get those in. Pinch of salt, a little bit more. So we're making a wild mushroom wild rice. And right here we have some mushrooms. Those are wild mushrooms. So here's our scallions. We're just gonna chop these. And I use pretty much all the parts of the scallion. The green, the white on the bottom. And we're gonna go in just like that. And then right into our pot. I got sage here as well too. So that sage is gonna kind of bring that bit of Thanksgiving feel to this, that earthiness feel. And it's just gonna complement this rice. So I'm just gonna chop this up in little tiny pieces and it will cook down in there. But the more you chop it, it'll just permeate this pot. Beautiful sage. So let's get that in there. Now the mushrooms, we're gonna put those in last. So we're gonna get the rice going and then we're gonna throw our mushrooms in there. All right, so here we got some bacon. And I'm just gonna use the fat of the bacon, see? I'm gonna go on that end. Now I'm using that bacon again later on, but I'm just gonna chop off the fatty ends of the bacon. That's going in the Brussels sprouts. And we use the fat for the rice because the rice is going to need it. So just like that, a couple of pieces. And when this cooks down an hour's time, you won't even know this is in here. It's just going to kind of disintegrate in the pot. You'll have a couple little pieces of fat, but it's going to taste gorgeous in there. All right, so we're going to put that in there. Now what we need, I'm going to take my towel and put this on here and put my pot on top of here so I don't get my pot ruined from the bacon that was on there. So if you put this on here and that bacon grease was just on here, you're going to just get the bottom of that pot messy on your stove, and you could start a fire if you get too much grease on the bottom. So I'm going to bring this in. I try to explain these things because I don't want you guys to mess up. All right, so here's our chicken stock. Just enough to cover the rice, and you can add more later on. See, I know my ratio, so here's 3 cups of rice. I got 8 cups of chicken stock. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the whole thing in because I know my ratios, and I'm going to let that boil out, and when I start to see the rice, I'm going to slow it down. So onto the stove we go. All right, so we're on the stove now, and I got the rice boiling. I want you to see this. Now, it's been on here for about 20 minutes, and 20 minutes in, you can start to see the rice coming right through the broth that's in there. So now we got some mushrooms, and we're just going to start dropping these in. I'm on about a medium heat. And don't worry about this pot not taking all these mushrooms, because it will take every single mushroom that we have here. They're all going to shrink up and be beautiful inside this. So you can use a lot of mushrooms. Just don't put them in until that water starts to kind of seep down a little bit, because you don't want to overcook the mushroom either. So we're just going to chop these up, and then we're going to meet you back here. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so those mushrooms are in now. We're about 10 minutes with those mushrooms in. I want you to see the boil that's on here. It's about a medium heat. And this rice is under here, and it's still hard. So what we want to do is take this down and get a lot of that liquid out of here. And just when that liquid starts to get out of here, I'm going to drop this down on low. I'm going to put the lid on and let that rice finish cooking. Wild rice, it's the hardest rice that I find to cook. But if you do it right, you'll have perfect rice every single time, as you'll see. We'll meet you back here when we put the lid on. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're about 40 minutes in now, and I want to show you this. Just when you can start to see the rice, that's the amount of liquid you want. Just like that. Now we're going to drop the heat on low. The low simmer, and now I'm going to place my hood on. And then we're going straight through the live show with this one. So we'll meet you back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we got our rice on simmer. Our pressure cooker now has stopped, so we're doing what you call a natural release. We're going to leave that in there. We're not going to hit that lever and let the steam out. When you do a natural release, the meat comes out more tender, so you always want to do that. Do a natural release on it and just let the meat chill out. At the same time, keeps it nice and warm for what we're about to do with it later on. Let's show you the Brussels sprouts. All right, for this dish, you're going to, of course, need some Brussels sprouts. I got some plums right here. And if you guys don't know what a plum is, it's a prune, just dried. So plums are prunes and prunes are plums. Purple onion or red onion. I call them purple. A lot of people call them red. I got some bacon here. Fennel. I'm going to show you how to cut this up in a second, and I have some over here. So let's get to cutting. So the first thing you want to do with a fennel plant, all of this stuff on the top here, useless. Makes great garnish, but it's a useless product. But I always save it and put it off to the side because I like to garnish with fennel because I use it. So anything I usually use in a dish, I'll always garnish with it. All right, so this is how you get into this bulb. So you're gonna go like this. I like to cut off the ends as much as I can and just save a lot of that. So I'm gonna discard that. The back of this, I'm just gonna chop off the back like that. You got some outer leaves. They're not the greatest. So I'm gonna pull some of the outer leaf off, but I'm going to keep some of this because I like the one down at the bottom. I just don't like it closer to the top where the green is, so I'm going to slice it there. Move it off to the side, and then I'm just gonna take it, chop it like that, and then you can go the long way with it and just make them thin slices. This way they cook down. This vegetable takes about 20 minutes to cook. So now I'm gonna slice it in half when I get to the bulb. I'm gonna open it up, and there's a core in here, just like a cabbage. So you're just gonna take the core out, pop it out of there. Same with this one, the other half, just pop it out of there. And now that you got the core out, I'm gonna thinly slice, turn it, and there it is. Put it right over here. Now this tastes almost like a licorice. And it's gonna go great with what we're doing today. And it's gonna go beautifully with these dry plums. All right, so now we got that. Here's our Brussels sprouts. Now, the outer Brussels sprout, we clean those up. You take off the leaves on the outside. So you're just gonna chop off the base of it, just like that. And stand it up, chop it once in half, just like that. And there it is. So we're gonna get the cutting on these guys, and then we're gonna meet you onto the stove. We're gonna chop up that bacon as well too, and you'll see that on the stove when we get back here, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, we got all of our vegetables cut up, our bacon's cut up now, and we're just about to go on the stove with these Brussels sprouts, and I'm just going to explain to you what we're doing so there's no confusion. Let's show you what we're doing. So we have all of our vegetables cut up here. Here's our fennel, here's our onion, this is the bacon. Now the bacon is already cut, we're going to go in with the bacon first. We're going to get some grease out of that, then we're going into the pan or the pot with the fennel and the onion. And last, we'll go in with our Brussels sprouts and the plums. And speaking of pots, we're using a light aluminum pot today. And the reason why we're using an aluminum pot today, because this builds up a lot of heat. It just gives you better control, and it's lighter. And if you use a heavy pot on your stove, especially if you have a glass stove, it could break the stove if you're moving it back and forth. And you just want to always use a light pot, and you don't want to fill it up with a lot of liquid. This is the way to go. Use an aluminum pot. All right, onto the stove we go. All right, so we got our bacon onto the stove here. And we're just starting to bring a little oil out of it. And just when you see that, we're gonna go in with some fennel. Get that moving around. Now this is gonna take a good 20 minutes to cook down. So just get a little head start on everything now and bring out the flavors in that. And then we're gonna go right in with some red onion. And you see what I mean by having a pan that's light on the stove here? So I'm just nice and light with this thing. And now we're just gonna cook this down on about a medium heat and just let it go. No salt, it's in the bacon. And just wanna use all the natural flavors of the fennel, the onion. If you wanna add some garlic in here, you can. But we're just using the natural flavors of everything that's in here today. Right before the Brussels sprouts go in, we might add some white wine. That's it. All right, we'll meet you back here to finish this up, and then we're gonna get to that turkey, and then we'll be on the chopping block, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so our bacon and fennel and onions are still cooking down. And now we're at that point where I wanna bring up some of that flavor. Look at that on the bottom of the pan there. Little white wine, just like that. And now we're just gonna let that heat up, and we're just gonna scrape the bottom a little bit like that. And see how clean that pan comes out? Just like that. Keeps you from scrubbing a pot. There you go. So you can move the vegetables to one side and just clean your pots and add flavor at the same time. So just like that, and there you have it. So you're going to deglaze that pan and add some flavor at the same time. And there you go, see that? Now you're stuck with a nice clean pot. Perfect. All right, I'm going to show you this rice while we're at it. That is one beautiful looking rice. We'll see that later on. All right, we're gonna finish this cook. Put those Brussels sprouts in with those prunes, and then we'll meet you back here. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so we're still cooking down. And now we're ready for our plums. Now I want you to see the bottom again. See that? The onions have caramelized and they turn the bottom sticky again. So what are we gonna do? Let's get some plums in. More sugar. Make it a little bit more sticky, right? Let's get these guys warmed up in here. Just like that. And now we're going in with a port wine, which is kind of a sweet wine. And it's going to bring the flavor out of the plums. And it's also going to bring the flavor out of the fennel. Deglaze that pan one last time. See that? We're just going to clean that pan up one more time. Bring up all that flavor from the bottom. And once you get it cleaned up, just like that, in with the Brussels sprouts. There you go. Just get it all mixed up in there. And now we're going to drop this down on low heat. I'm going to put a splash of port. I'm going to drop my heat down. And then I'm going to let my Brussels sprouts steam in there. And that's it. 5 minutes on steam. We're ready to go. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, the Brussels sprouts are done and the rice is done. So right now we're going to show you how to finish off these beautiful turkey wings. All right, so I just started taking these out of the cooker. Look how tender these are. I mean, they're full apart. Let's get one over here. And just take a look at this. See, you can just pull them apart. See that? Now, I don't want to break them right now because we want to pull them apart on the table. But I'm going to put a couple of more here. And I'm going to show you how we spice these up. So I'm just going to do a few of these. Let's get a little cumin powder on here, just to give them that little edge. So I'm going to get a little cumin powder on there. You can turn them over both sides. By the time the broiler hits them and toasts them up, they're really going to look spectacular. So let's just get the cumin on there. Turn this side over. So there we go on the cumin, just a touch. Now we're going to go in with barbecue sauce, your favorite brand. This happens to be a homemade one, and one day you guys just might see this one on the market. All right, I'm going to get some on here, like that. Then we're just going to rub it in. Just like that. To the backs. Flip it over. Then we're going to do the fronts. And we're going to get all these done. And when we flip these over and do them all over, we're going to meet you onto the broiler and show you how to get these done. So we'll meet you back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're just about ready to put these in the broiler, and there's one last thing that I'm gonna do. Little red chili flake on here, just to bring out maximum flavor. I like that depth of flavor, so I wanna go max with it. And then under the broiler we go. Just one side. You could either put it on, or don't choose to put it on. Under the broiler we go. All right, high broiler, right up underneath, and make it as crispy as you want. We're just gonna flip it around, rotate it, and we'll meet you right back here. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, time to pull this. Look at those guys. That's what you want. All right, we'll meet you under the chopping block. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, here we are, season 6 of our show. Turkey wings, barbecued indoors. Let's show you what we got. Look at those guys. Beautiful. Can't go wrong with those. And we're gonna unmask everything here. Let's show you those beautiful veggies. Look at those guys. Gorgeous. And here's our rice. And I say let's plate up. We're gonna get this off to the side. And let's bring in a plate. This is how you garnish this. See, I took the bay leaves that were in here and I just put them on top. And I'm just gonna get some of this beautiful mushroom rice onto the plate. So heavy and hearty feeling. And it smells really earthy. So if you guys make this rice, it doesn't take a lot of this to get you full. I'm gonna go for a couple more mushrooms in here because I love those mushrooms. All right. Clean this plate up a little bit. And now we're gonna get on some of those Brussels sprouts. Look at these guys. This is a very pretty dish and presents extremely well. For you guys that don't like Brussels sprouts, I think that bacon and the prunes in there will convince you otherwise. So we'll just get some height on that and get a couple more of those nice Brussels sprouts in there. Let's get some of that turkey going on here. And let's choose a couple of pieces of this nice turkey. I'm going to choose this one right here. We'll park it like that. Actually, 2 of them. And get those right onto the plate. There you have it. I want to tell you to save your garnish. So I want you to see something here. Look at those Brussels sprouts. So we're going to take this. You guys know what this was. And we're going to get this onto the plate. Because those Brussels sprouts are cooked in it. Now look how pretty that looks. You take that and just garnish that right around the plate. Just gives a pretty decadent look. Just like that. And now you got a pretty dish. And people will kind of know what's in there as well too. And I think I'm going to take a nice piece of this garnish. Look at that piece. Very unique looking. And what we'll do is we'll put it back here on the end of the plate. And as far as the rice goes, we can take a little bit of this garnish and just lay it right on top of the rice, like that. And that makes it pop. So don't ever throw away the garnishes because they improve the plate. All right, let's get into this. Look at that, just tender. I'm gonna take a piece. Just take my fork here and break that off. Let's give that a shot. Forget the turkey. That's That's all you need is the wings. Actually, it happens to be my favorite part of the turkey, that and the thighs. The rest of the turkey, it's great too, but nothing beats a beautiful barbecue turkey wing under the broiler. All that flavor in there, especially the burned on barbecue sauce under the broiler, just adds a very unique taste to that turkey, because you don't really see turkey with barbecue sauce on it. I promise you one thing, if you try it and cook it like that with the barbecue sauce on, tenderize it, meat falls off the bone, you're not gonna go wrong. Outstanding dish. All right, let's try that rice. That rice is ridiculously good. For those of you guys that never had real wild rice mixed with the brown rice in there, and the black and the red, phenomenal. I mean, it's a rice that you really must try, especially with the mushrooms in there. If you're gonna compare this to risotto, risotto can stay out the door. All right, let's try those Brussels sprouts. Bacon, Brussels sprouts, plums, fennel, that eats like a complete meal. I can have that just with the rice for dinner. That is outstanding. All right, we're gonna get organized. We're gonna meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. One outstanding way to have turkey wings. And we parked that right on the side of some Brussels sprouts, prunes and fennel, bacon inside there. Dynamite combination. We followed up with some wild rice with mushrooms. A must try. If you guys never had wild rice, you definitely have to try this one. I think you'll be quite impressed. We thank you guys for coming as always. And with no further ado, gotta get that last Pitmaster taste there.